and welcome to episode, no, that's my coffee. Welcome to episode 25 of the Knitted Cupcake podcast. My name is Lacey, this is Boris, and I guess together we are your hosts this week. I want to say thanks for the people who joined me during my live episodes. I thought I'd give that a shot, and let me tell ya, not having to edit a podcast is fantastic. However, I don't know what you're doing. I miss kind of doing this thing because I felt that when I went live, I kind of had to perform almost, which I know isn't true, but I just felt like I wasn't quite myself. So I'm sure it will happen again in the future. However, I thought I'd go back to my standard pre-recorded episode today. So thanks for joining me. I've got a few new subscribers, so if that's you, thanks for coming and checking me out and subscribing to my channel. If this is your first episode you're checking out, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. I appreciate it. You guys are sticking with me through the craziness that is my life right now. I'm currently in my first year of grad school. I'm going back to school for deaf and hard of hearing education. I'm working full-time as a first-year teacher. So all of that makes it pretty crazy. I've got a pretty crazy life right now. And I've been trying pretty hard to do an every other week style of podcast, and so far, not too shabby. I apologize if you can hear the dog eating. That's his dinner he didn't eat last night. Anyway, I'm hoping you're noticing a bit of a difference with the quality of video. I may or may not. That's the bell. He wants that. One moment. Actually, I'll finish this. Anyway, I may or may not have borrowed a camera from my boyfriend's mom, and I borrowed it for school, but I'm testing it out for this as well to see if maybe I can keep it on loan for a while, because things can actually autofocus, which is really exciting and something that I've wanted for a long time. So before I jump in and get started, I'm gonna take a brief hold and let the dog go. And we're back, and I'm not quite comfy. Okay, so I don't have any finished objects this week, and that's because I've just wanted to cast everything on, and with my knitting time being as limited as it is, I'm very much in the mindset of knit what makes me happy, and if that means a new cast on, it means a new cast on, and very little obligation knitting. So with that, you can't see what I'm wearing, but here they are. And these are my speckled dragon egg socks by Amy Meeks of the Periscopian Sisters podcast. And the yarn is Dragon Horde yarn in her speckled dragon eggs, I believe, in the Debbie colorway. I don't know if you could see, but I've also got Halloween leggings on. It is Sunday. Of course, my Fitbit is dead. April 22nd, I think, and it's not that early in the morning, it's 10 in the morning, but I only woke up an hour ago because sleeping in was a great thing today. So, I'm still kind of in my gym jams. What else? Drinking coffee out of my Oklahoma. Are you Oklahoma? Yes, my Oklahoma You're Here mug. Is it gonna block my face so we'll focus? I don't know. And this is just my, there's a few different names for it. Keto coffee, bulletproof coffee, fatty coffee. And it's been my go-to for the last like month and a half. Coffee, butter, coconut oil, heavy whipping cream, and some vanilla stevia. Delicious. So that's what I got sipping on today. So with no FOs let's dive into whips. And my first whip is not living in a project bag, but it is all sorts of buried down here. I started to set this up yesterday to podcast, and then I realized, oh, I should mow the lawn, which was an ordeal, let me tell you. We have not mowed the lawn since the end of fall when our landlord, took our mower for the winter to put it in storage, which meant the grass was like this tall. I mean, Boris would be out in the backyard and you could just see his little ears popping through the grass. So it was really tall, which meant I had to fight with the mower because the grass was getting stuck in the blades, and I'd have to empty the bag every minute, not even exaggerating. It was just an ordeal, let me tell you that. And so, yeah, I decided to do that rather than podcast yesterday. I don't know why I did that, but I did. And now my hands are so sore from having to like squeeze the little levers on the mower. Anyway, first world problems, right? I have a lawn that I have to get to mow. Anyway, excuse me. Up first is my Sunset Highway sweater. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it? Can I give you a close-up of the colors? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah? Is it focusing? Can you see things? That would make me really happy. Anyway, my Sunset Highway, and I adore it. I love it. I took it, I don't want to say I took it off the needles, but I added another like 40-inch cable so I could try it on. And it is, at first I was like, oh no, this is gonna have too much positive ease. It's gonna be a sack on me, but I think it's gonna be perfect. So let's talk about the colors a little bit. It's kind of getting blown out, and I don't know how to not blow it out. Like, I don't know, I've got windows open everywhere. But the purple is, so the entire yoke is done in Goosey Fibers. The purple is Trelawney Sherry. The green is Tea Leaves. And the golden yellow, which is pretty yellow, like it's more yellow than it is gold, is I Open at the Close. And then the stellar, this is really hard. I'm sitting, like, so here's the deal. Like, I am sitting far away from the camera. Like, that's just what I have to do in order to fit in the frame. It's a little weird. So I have to sit pretty far away. So to get it up to the camera to focus on it, I feel like I have to like lean so far over. But yeah, you can see, oh, look at those speckles. That's so good. You can see my little face poking through. But that's okay. I love how this is turning out. But the speckles are Sweet Georgia. I think it's their Tough Love sock base in Rainbow Sprinkles. And I love it. And so I'm trying to make sure that I don't like pull my needles out here, which I mean wouldn't be the end of the world because I could pick them up. But I have all of these markers on the bottom of the sweater right here, so you can see kind of where I've done. And my progress keeper, the palm tree, was where I was last podcast. So I've done quite a bit, and each of my little markers just shows times that I was working on it when I was doing homework. So that's where I've been working on this the most, really at all, is when I'm back in my office doing homework. So if I have to do some reading or watch some videos, because it's just straight up stockinette, knit, I just knit on this. And so I just wanted to, you know, kind of keep in track a little bit of how far I'm getting in a little study session or a homework session. I am alternating skeins of the Rainbow Sprinkles, and you can probably kind of see why. I mean, I've got this one over here looks a lot more heavily speckled. I guess it really is. I didn't really think about how much more speckled it is than the other one. So I'm really glad I'm alternating skeins because it's nice and even and pretty. And I love it. So yeah, that is my Sunset Highway. And that's by Caitlin Hunter. I don't know if I said that. Who's Boyland Knits. Okay, up next. Oh, I've got a lot more works in progress that I've actively worked on than I thought, because I didn't even talk about my scrappy blankets. So, getting ahead of myself though. Up next is a new cast on. And this is kind of what I was talking about in limited knitting time. And I want to be knitting on what makes me happy. And this is something that, oh gosh, I'm stuck on a pin on a bag, that I've wanted to cast on for a couple weeks now, since I found the pattern. And it is flying. I am in love with this project. And this might be kind of hard to show just because of the nature of the project. But it is the Midsummer Haze by Joji Locatelli. And so it's a cowl, but it's shawl style. And so it has that triangular shawl construction at first, and then you connect it in a really ingenious way to now work things in the round. So I'm working in the round, and I'm now onto the really pretty lace part. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that. Are you gonna focus on that, or are you gonna focus on my face still? I think you're focusing on that. So yeah, I love it. This is being knit out of Sunset Yarn Co. in the Linger at Twilight color. And it's just this gorgeous mauvey purple with really beautiful kind of rusty and some green speckles in there. I love this. Like, this is so my jam. And so I'm almost done with my second lace repeat, and I think it has 6 total. And I just started it this week. So it's definitely a relatively quick knit. I love it. Again, pretty ingenious pattern because it is still increasing, so the bottom is going to be wider than the top, and so it just, you just have to check it out. Midsummer Haze by Joji Locatelli. And this, not my first Joji pattern that I've purchased, but my first Joji cast on, I believe, and I love it. I never doubted that I would love Joji's patterns. Okay, next up is a pattern that's over here that I was working on last night before I went to bed. So let me grab that really fast. Okay, got it. So this next cast on I started a couple nights ago, so there's not a lot here, but it is that one little bit of obligation knitting that I mentioned at the beginning, and I'm choosing to do this. No one asked me to do this. And one of my coworkers, who is also my boyfriend's mom's boss, she's a knitter and is retiring this June. And so I thought that it would be really special to knit her a retirement gift. And I am really excited about it. Because who's more knit-worthy than a fellow knitter? Am I right? Anyway. So I decided to do, I'm looking over here with my notes. So I did show notes today, guys. Be proud. I lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm knitting the Love Entwined Cowl by Deborah Raymond, and she is half of the Meanwhile at the Castle podcast. And she just released this pattern. I mean, I think it's only a couple weeks old on Ravelry. It's super fresh. And as soon as she started showing it on her podcast, and then she talked about it kind of being in the testing stage and gonna go live, and I knew immediately that this is what I needed to knit for this retirement gift, because this coworker is currently working on this gorgeous cabled green cardigan, and this cowl is full of braided cables that run down it, and it's stunning. If you've not checked it out, do it. All of that information will have been down below. And I just have a little baby beginning of it. I need to, with this, I can block my face. There we go. You can see the beginning of the cables. I am either completely done with one repeat or I'm almost done with one full repeat. So I have a ways to go, because you have to do those cable crosses a gazillion times and then you increase and then you do it some more. It's a lot, but I love it. And this color, is Teeny Button Studio in the Blackberry Crumble color, and I love it. I was messaging this person's secretary, who's also my friend, who I've taught how to knit, which is really exciting. I was messaging her when I was looking for yarn and said, okay, I have an idea of what colors will work for this person, but what are your thoughts? And she said exactly what was running through my head, with really rich jewel tone greens and rich deep purples, wines and blackberry, things like this. And so when, oh, I totally lost her name. Mary and, oh gosh, I can't remember the diary behind Teeny Button Studios. That makes me so sad. I should know this. I've ordered from her a number of times and I can't find her tag. Ugh, the curse of going live and not having my people to help me out with this. Anyway, she just vended at DFW, Dallas Fort Worth, DFW Fiberfest, and when she came back, she had some skeins that she had discounted, and this was one of them, and it was perfect. I mean, perfect because it was discounted, and perfect because the color was absolutely perfect. So, yeah, go check it out. Love Entwined. Ooh, I'm all attached here. By Deborah Raymond. Also check out the Meanwhile at the Castle podcast, because those ladies are phenomenal. They always have great knitting to show off. Deborah's a designer. They just finished like a first time basic like live sock tutorial session thing, which is super cool. But yeah, so that is that whip. Okay, now we're on to some sock tack, because I have made a ton of progress on some socks this week, these last 2 weeks. So first and foremost, and it'll be a little bit of whips too, because some of them are living in some new project bags, which I love. I'll do this one first because it's open. This bag is from Fates Threads? I should know this. Fates Threads, I think. And it is Porgs and R2-D2. Like, seriously, how cute is that? I love it. So she had posted on Instagram, like a, oh, I still have some snackies in here from the movies. It's like, what is that crinkling? Anyway, she posted a picture of the fabric on Instagram and said, if you want to pre-order, like, who wants these? And I jumped on it right away and said, please let me know when they go live. I need one in my life. And so she did, and I bought one, and I love it because we call Boris a bit of a porg. He has somewhere a little stuffed squeaky porg that, I mean, poor porg has seen better days. But this has kind of become my movie sock sack, which is perfect because Star Wars. And in here is my movie tube. And it's almost done. Like, I'm almost ready to add in the ribbing. And that's as much as I got done. We went and saw, come on, focus, A Quiet Place. And let me tell you, so the last 2 movies I went and saw, I've been able to do a full repeat of color. All the pinks, reds, oranges, all the blues. And I've been able to do that much during the movie. And I, like, I'm still not done through the reds and pinks and oranges for this one. You can see my little beer stitch marker, and that's from Nitty by Nature. That is such, I think my dog is crying at the door. It is more of a thriller than horror, I feel like. People have been talking about how it is kind of rewriting the horror genre. I was quite adamant about going because they have a deaf actress in it. They use a lot of sign language in it, and that actually plays a really large component in the entire storyline. Larger than I realized it was going to play, which made my little deafy, I'm not deaf, but I am very much involved in the deaf culture, made that part of my heart very happy. And so it was just so intense. I couldn't be knitting the whole time, which says a lot about a movie because 90% of the movies I watch, the whole time I'm knitting. So didn't make it too far on this sock, but it's getting there. And I think now that I have the better quality of camera, you can see, hopefully, it's getting blown out, so it's hard to see how dirty and unclear those colors are, and it makes me kind of grumpy. But anyway, that's beside the point. So what I'm gonna do, I think this is all I have left. It's just this little nugget. So I think what I'll do is I'll get through the blue section, and then I will do the cuff, bind off, separate them, and add in some toes and heels, which is very exciting. So it's going to be, kind of think here. So this will be half of the sock. That's it. So they will be shorty socks. I don't have a tape measure handy, or I would measure and kind of show you. But I think, because I have to do about 8, no, because I have to add in heel. So my entire foot, I wear a size 9.5, and so my foot measures about 10.5 inches. So to get the right ease, I like about 10 inches in length, and that includes heels and toes, which means 2 inches for my heel, 2 inches for my toe. So this needs to be about 6 inches, which is about, fun trick, this measures about 6 inches. So I will probably put my heel in right here. So this will be as tall as my sock will be, but that's fine. I don't mind a little shorty sock. And the fact that I can get all of that out of a 50-gram skein, pretty impressive, especially because I didn't do contrasting cuffs. Now next time for my movie socks, I think I talked about it last episode, I think what I will do is I will start the sock on a provisional cast on, and then I can straight up knit the entire 50 grams, and then I'll come back, pick up the provisional cast on, and do the cuff. That way I have a bind off for both cuffs, because this one will have a cast on and a bind off, which is not my favorite necessarily, but that's okay. And then, so everything will match, and then I can get more body of the sock out of the 50 gram skein of yarn, because I've got, my yarn cabinet is here. So that's why I keep looking at it. I'm like, yeah, I've got some colors that would work for contrast and heel sews and cuffs and blah, blah, blah. So, and all of my Felici is right up front. So I'm looking at that going, yeah, I could totally, that's what I need to do. And yeah, blah, blah, blah. Who cares, Lacey? Movie sock. Next up, in another Fates thread bag, this is the Boris bag. Ah, look at how cute. It's Boris and cameras. Of course I had to buy this bag. Let's be honest here. Living in this particular bag is my Kaluna. Yes, I want to say Kalura. No, that's a designer who lives by me. My Kaluna sock. And this is a sock design by Becky Sorensen of the Stitching the High Notes podcast, I believe is her podcast. And this is the outside leg, which, hello, you're getting blown out like major, because this is some bright yarn. And this yarn is, whew, Pretty Young Thing by Lolo Did It. And I love it. And my little twill and print snail, ooh, Progress Keeper, he's so cute. I love him so much. And this is one that last weekend, Mr. Man and I went up to the Tri-Cities, and I brought along this sock. I felt like I had another sock that I brought with me that I got a lot of work done on. Was it? I don't think it was my movie sock, because we didn't go to the movie that day. But I'd gone back and forth on these. I'm really confused now, because I know this wasn't the only thing I worked on. I'm missing a whip. And I don't know what one it is. Or what bag it's in. Oh! I know it. I can't remember what's in it, but oh, no, yeah, I'm gonna have to get up and get it. I have all the socks right now. Okay, now that I've solved that mystery, last time you saw it, I was still up in all the design work on the leg of the sock, and it's got, sorry, let's try to finagle this a little bit. These little row of eyelets that run up the back of the heel. And I tried Becky's New Depths heel. I'm not sold on it yet. I think I'll definitely use it for the second sock so they match. But I'll have to see how it wears and how it fits my foot before I make a final judgment on it. At first, I wasn't a big fan of the construction of the heel, and part of that is because when it comes to short row heels, I'm a Fish Lips Kiss all the way. That is my heel of choice, and so this had a little bit more to do than the Fish Lips Kiss, because it creates this little teeny tiny baby gusset to give you more depth to your heel, hence the New Depths name. And even looking at it, I'm like, that just looks like a really big and baggy heel. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But when I try the sock on, it seems to be okay. So I think I just need to finish the sock and like give it the official wear before I decide one way or the other. But yeah, and these are being knit on my High Sharps US 1. And I love it. And I just thought that this yarn was really fun. I mean, it's so blown out right now. Like, that looks like a baby pastel pink, and it is so neon. Like this is not Pretty Young Thing. What I'm looking at, like in my hand is, but not on the camera. Like it's with the shadow. Ooh, with the shadow. Let's see if I can have a lot of light coming in from that way. Like, is that gonna? Nope, it's just. Go online. I think actually I was just watching Miss Lauren, her podcast yesterday, and she was putting together sock sets that included Pretty Young Thing. So go check out her website and snag some, because it's a colorway she only dyes once or twice a year because it's super labor intensive, and it's phenomenal. It is a stellar color that everybody needs to have in their stash and everybody needs to use in these socks. That's just my 2 cents. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have 5 pairs of socks to talk about today. What? Up next are my stripy socks. These socks are really fun because I only ever work on them in my car. These only come inside the house to podcast and then they go back out in my car because I like to get to work early and get knitting done. It's just, there's a stupid morning radio show I listen to. And I just sit in my car in front of the school and do some knitting, and you can see, holy wow, I've gotten a lot done. And this yarn is Mustache yarn in her like I think it's must match sock. So they're 2 perfectly paired 50-gram skeins and in the Pippi colorway, and I adore them. And my Progress Keepers, because now you can see the quality of them. My little sheepy is from Simply Serving HK, and my s'more is from Sweet Cherry on Etsy, and I love them both. They make me so happy. But yeah, I am almost, I think I decided that my heel will go in here. So I'm almost ready to throw some ribbing in these socks, and then I'll cut in some heels, which will be very exciting. But here they are. I love them. They're so cute. They're so fun. I've got like goofy ears. And these are being knit on my Cupcake US ones, 40-inch cable. And I adore them. And they are living in a Little Fish Stitches project bag. And this was a collaboration with Jen of the Perfect Stitch Fiber Company for her 1-year anniversary. And it's just little black and white scribbly sheep. And I love it. Next up are a pair of socks that I picked up because I don't think I don't know why I picked these up and worked on them for a little bit. But I did, so I'll show them to you. Because these are socks that I cast on back in November. I think it was right after Thanksgiving when I was home. I cast them on. And so they are poking along. Oh my gosh. So slow motion are these. And it's not because I don't like the pattern, because I love the pattern, I love the yarn, I love the needles. It's just, I don't know. They're just socks that I'll keep coming back to. And these are the Snowfall socks by, what's her last name? And it's Tabby, but I wrote it down. Tabitha Gandy, who is Tabby of the Hey Sister podcast and yarn company. And I am knitting these out of Hey Sister yarn in the You Can't Take the Sky From Me color. And there's gold stellina base. And I'm just going to keep showing you because they're that cool. I love the pattern. I love the little pearl chevrons. I love the yarn. They just are not high on my priority list. And part of it may be because maybe I don't love the needles as much as I want to love them. And part of it I think is because I've got the short tips. These are the Cupcake mini twist. And so this cord is crazy flexible with no memory, which I adore. But the tips are only the 4-inch tips. They are not the 5-inch. And so when I'm knitting, I typically like the whole width of the sock to fit on the needle, and these don't. So I don't know why I got the short tips compared to the long tips, but I did. So I maybe will buy a set of the longer tips in a US one and try those and see if I enjoy it anymore. So, because I do really love the cable. Like, I love how it's perfect for Magic Loop. Like, they need to have that cable on all of their things. And this is also living in a Little Fish Stitches bag, and this is her little fox and scarves, and I love it. Megan makes some amazing bags. Her podcast is on a break right now, but I think her Etsy shop is still up and running. I hope so. Go check it out. Give her some love. And there's that. I'm gonna go get my last sock because it's on the other side of the couch. I'm back. This, I don't know why I forgot about it because everything matches. Well, not everything. I'm missing one thing, but this is living in my, I always do this wrong. Go the wrong way. My, come on, Lynn. There we go. My Sunshine and Bubblegum project bag, and this was part of a kit, the Weasley Wizards Wheezes kit. I think I got that right. And it's all Harry Potter in here, and it makes me so happy because in this bag is my, oh, are these the Derive pattern? I didn't write that down. I'll put it down here. But this is part of Mina Phillips' sock club, her warm and cozy sock club. And this is a little DPN holder from my lovely Molly Klein of Molly Klein Design. And it's this month's pattern. And it's kind of hard to tell when they're not on a sock blocker, because when it's on your foot or on the blockers when that pattern really shines. And this yarn is Yeti Goes to Hogwarts. Bah! I'm really, really excited about Lauren of Lolo Did It, her Yeti collection. The Hippo for the Holidays is fun, but I haven't bought any because they've just kind of been like, okay, it is what it is. But for whatever reason, the nerdiness that is behind the Yeti Goes To collection has my heart. And this is a progress keeper from Simply Serving HK, Lindsay. And it was also part of that Weasley Wizard Wheezes kit. And then it came with yarn from Jen at the Perfect Stitch Fiber Company. But yeah, and so my contrasting heel, which I think I'll do a contrasting toe as well, is also Lolo Did It, and it's in her Wonka colorway. And it just, again, is gonna get blown out because it's a super bright purple. And I love it. I absolutely love these socks. And obviously I've gotten a lot done on these in the last 2 weeks. And a lot of it was that car ride. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna put the heel in, and that really helped keep me trucking along, is by putting in the heel during that car ride. I do have a measuring tape. I think I'm relatively close, probably not, to putting in starting my toe. Nope, I'm only at 5.5 inches and I need to go to 8. So I still have a ways to go, but that's fine. But yeah, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. So let's not just stuff this back in the bag, Lacey. Let's use the needle cozy that you have. I may or may not have like 3 other needle cozies chilling in my Etsy cart right now, because I've discovered that I love needle cozies, and I think it's really fun when I can get them to match a bag. which means I need to find, I can show you these ones. These are going to be a very rambly episode because this is another pair of socks I've not shown yet. So let's put these away. And living in this bag was just a random cast on because I needed to knit on something, and this is the only yarn and needles that I had available at the time. They're Christmas socks, and I need to get different needles because these double points are absurd because they're so long, and they're carbons, and I've got, I've got a few where the join between the tip and the, the shaft of the needle is not very smooth, and the yarn likes to get caught in there, which makes it not fun. So I need to just order myself a set of zings that are 6 inches and not 8. Like, these are absurd. Like, they're just too long. But these socks are the Fruit Stripe Gum pattern. I don't have the designer name right now off the top of my head because I wasn't planning on showing these. In Cascade Heritage prints. In, the color number 26, which is just their, I think it's their old Christmas color. So yeah, this was just kind of I need knitting and this is all I have, so it's what I started, which is fine. I love it. I've been wanting to do the Fruit Stripe Gum pattern for a while now. But anyway, I was talking about the needle cozies because I like the idea of the cozy matching the bag. Something about that makes me really happy. So I need to get a shorter set of zings to put these on. And then I have 3 needle cozies in my cart currently that match project bags that I currently have, which just makes me stupidly happy. So maybe those will be part of acquisitions next time. We shall see. Say that 10 times fast, holy Moses. Okay, quick sip. Then we'll talk about what will we talk about next? Scrappy blankets. And then my acquisitions. Woo woo. Okay, so scrappy blankets. Worked on one, started a second new one. Or a new one, just a new one. So, my cozy memory, I've added a number 2. So I added this square, which I do believe is Sarah's Starburst from Little Fish Stitches. I've added this mystery skein. This is a Mountains Colors. This is a Madeline Tosh. And then this is a mystery skein. But it's a really cool, fun, stripy skein. So I have 4 more to add to this row to section it off, to kind of square it off. It's not a square. I mean, this is the width of my blanket. It's smelling like yarn and I love it, but can't figure it out. I mean, it'll stretch to my wingspan. Also, I wove in my ends that I could. And I didn't trim any, so some of them are still, oh, that's a new end I have to weave in. But I've woven in a large majority of my ends that can be woven in. So there, take that. That makes me really excited. That took a lot of dedication to sit down last week and do that. And it's Scrappy Sunday, so I'm really excited because I'm going to add on to both of these blankets that I'm going to show you. And I love it because it's like, it's foldable. So, cozy memory. Not that exciting. This is my new one that I'm very excited about. And I feel like I should grab the tag, but I don't want to. I'll talk. You're going to see this for many, many, many episodes to come, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I think my camera's telling me I only have 12 minutes left on my card. This is the Pinwheel Scrap Blanket by Mina Phillip. And I decided that I wanted to do every other triangle in that gray piece to make it a little more cohesive, yet still patchwork. So it'll have this gray running throughout, and I'm very excited about it. So I have one square done, and the gray is a Knit Picks Hawthorne of some sort. I can't remember. I've got 9 skeins of it though, so it's gonna make a very large blanket, I think. And I'm very excited. So that's that scrappy blanket. Now I feel like I have to rush through all of this because I have a lot to talk about in my acquisitions. And not a lot of space on the SD card. Okay, so let's jump into acquisitions. I'm going to start off with my purchases from the weekend of There's Room for Everyone. And that is something that was very near and dear to my heart. As growing up, I was bullied a lot as a kid. I was always on the sensitive side. I would always give a reaction to when kids teased me, and so then they would tease me more. I've always been a bigger kid. I had a speech impediment. I couldn't say my R's, and so that was always an area that kids liked to kind of latch onto and tease me about. And I mean, that lasted from kindergarten through my senior year of high school. So bullying is very real to me. It's a problem. I am very thankful I'm not an adolescent in today's day and age with technology and social media. I would not do well, I don't think, with that. So to hear and to know that there were instances, maybe still are, I don't know details, I don't need to know details, I don't need to know the who, the what, the why, other than the fact that it has been happening within our knitting community, and that really bothered me because all of my experiences with this knitting community have always been nothing but positive and generous and uplifting and encouraging and fun, and a group and an environment that I've always wanted to be a part of ever since I started. Like, it just is so good. And so to know that that had been going on, and like I said, I don't know if that problem is resolved. It needs to be if it's not, but it was very, very cool in my eye to see other makers step up and say, we're not going to accept this, we're not going to stand by this, and we're going to make it very clear that there's enough room in this industry for all of us. And I love it. Through it, I ordered stuff from 2 new companies that I had not ordered from before. One of them I was familiar with. I followed them on Instagram, and the other one I just stumbled upon. And so I made some purchases. I supported some cause. Every maker donated some of their proceeds to local high schools or to online organizations that were anti-bullying. So very cool causes that these makers were a part of. So I will start with those. And first up is the initiator of all of this, which I love, and that is Yarn Cafe Creations, Christy. And this is her There Is Room for, hashtag There Is Room for Everyone colorway. And you can kind of see the speckles. And this is on her new biscotti base. It's an 85-15, insanely plush, insanely squishy. And that came with a really precious progress keeper. It's got a globe that looks like a ball of yarn, and it says there is room for everyone. So these were the initiators of all of that. And it makes me very happy. Like, this is a very, very special skein to me, that I really am going to enjoy knitting with. Up next is another skein of yarn, also Room for Everyone, and this is from Mid Knit Cravings, and they're based out of Canada, and just look at these colors. It's really fun to see everybody's interpretation of that. I know Molly Klein, I didn't get a chance to get it, did one with that was based off of the blue nails that high schoolers have been doing to show that they're a safe person, they're a friend, which was really cool. But there's that gorgeous skein, and this is on her, again, an 80-20 base, but it's 115 grams, so you get 420 yards, 425 yards, so it's a little more bang for your buck, which I just thought it was a really stunning color. And a great cause. And then, finally, I have a project bag. And this is from a Single Strand Studio. And I love it. It's a boxed bag, which I don't have any bags like this. But look at that. Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Batgirl, all of these strong women represented in a bag, and it just was so good. And this is her card, and so it also came with a Wonder Woman Progress Keeper, Single Strand Studio. You can find her on Etsy, and I love it. And it just, and some tea. It just so special, so special. So thank you to the makers who decided to support these things, because it's an important issue that needs to be talked about and not be brushed aside. So that is that. I have a few more fun acquisitions that I need to get through before I run out of memory on my card. Anyway, okay, so let's do, well, there's one of them. There's the other one. Eventually, when I'm done with school, I would like to take part in the year-long Desert Vista Dye Works sock club thing, whatever it is. So I am slowly but surely building up my Desert Vista Dye Works club, stash, and I'm now at 3. So these are my latest, oh gosh, wrong way, Lacey, come on, Desert Vista Dye Works. And I love, these ones were really cool because these were her, like, what was it? Something about a trip or traveling through the Northwest, which, hello, I'm a Northwest native. And so this one is called Orcas. And my favorite whale is the orca. I did a lot of reports on orcas as a child. And so it was very much a color I needed to get my hands on. And then the next one is Pacific Sunset, and oh man, she nailed it. And I got this one on her Zion base, which is her sparkly base. And it's Zion base, sorry. A stunning, stunning color, and even cooler on sparkle. So very excited about these, and they're gonna go in my stash, and this is kind of going to be my reward for surviving grad school, my Desert Vista Dye Works. So it's been fun to kind of, as monthly colors change and shift, to go, ooh, okay, I want that one, and buy it, and not have to be like, oh, I have to start next month and buy all of them. So I've got over a year to collect all the yarns that I want to knit with for that knit along. And finally, oh, not finally, I've got 2 more things. Well, 3 more things. I did order some, sorry for the crinkling, tags for my knitwear, so I can attach them to sweaters. I have a pair of fingerless gloves that I want to make my dad. So they'll fold over, and one side says the knitted cupcake and the other side says handmade. And I have a light and a dark, which they were relatively inexpensive. They do, I will say, have a funny musty smell to them, which is turning my yarn cabinet into a funny musty smell. But whatever, I'll air them out. And these I ordered from Intaglio, and this purchase supported the Geek Group National Science Institute, which they do some really cool things. Operate programming that assists K through 12 classrooms, post-secondary education, adults seeking retraining, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole little booklet that was really, really cool. So that was one other purchase that I made, and I'm gonna pause for 1 second. An hour later, we can continue. Apparently I had some stuff on my SD card that I didn't realize was there. So I had to load everything from the SD card onto my computer, which took time, and then I had to clear it. You don't care. Let's continue on with acquisitions. Because I really only have like 2 things left. So a bit ridiculous, but I felt like I needed to give a proper sign off as well. So as you may or may not be aware, yesterday was the first official local yarn shop day, like National Local Yarn Shop Day, maybe international, I don't know. And of course, I had to participate. So, my first intent was going in to pick up some yarn for the pattern by Casa Pinka that she designed specifically for Local Yarn Shop Day, which is the local yarn shawl, I believe. And I picked up some hedgehog. And this is the colorway Cereal. And it's very subtle, it's very light. But I feel like this will be a shawl that I will wear a lot. I am not all too impressed with kind of the over twist that's on this. But according to the shop owner, like, she's always had that block out with hers and she's not ever had an issue. So I'm hoping that's the case with me because I really wanted this color, and it's in the Skinny Singles base. I also picked up some Spin Cycle yarn because everybody is knitting everything out of Spin Cycle right now. So of course I had to jump on the bandwagon, and I picked these up to knit Andrea Mowry's The Shift Cowl with. So I picked up Devilish Grin, which is so fun. Very rich red, which is kind of outside of my typical style. These colors are outside, but I love the combination of all of them. This one is Rusted Rainbow. And then finally, this one, Burning Sensation. Really, guys? That's what you wanted to call it? Apparently. So that was my purchases from Local Yarn Shop Day, which is so much fun. Little bit of life stuff. We'll talk about that. I've been getting my crafty on lately. I think it's not in my car, but I made myself a diffuser lanyard for work, which was really fun and exciting, and I loved it. And then last night I took part in a like wine and paint night type of thing, and if you have been a longtime viewer or if you've seen my old episodes when I was still living up in Wenatchee, you would see behind me, or at one point when I was still podcasting on the couch and not the table, you could see my paintings behind me, and they're actually over here, but you can't see them. But I did another one last night with one of my coworkers, and I enjoyed it. outside of my typical style of like artwork for the house, but just the events themselves I really enjoy. So I thought, you know what, I'll do it, and I ended up really loving the final product, and I don't know if I'll be able to get it all on screen, but here it is. And it looks so good on screen. I'm so impressed. It's a farmhouse, which is, I'm not a farmy type of girl, like, I don't know, my clouds, my sky. But yeah, that's my painting, and I'm really, like I said, I'm quite proud of how it turned out. I don't think it's my favorite one I've done so far, but it's definitely up there. Like, I was not expecting to do as well as that, so there's that. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I've been doing the school thing. It's a weird term, put it that way. Not a whole lot. As you might have assumed from my coffee choice this morning, I am doing the keto thing, which there are a few of us podcasters out there doing it, and I won't turn it into a keto podcast, but if you're curious and you want to know more, it's my second time trying it. I had done it about this time last year and was really successful on it, really loved it, and then I had some pretty intense life stuff happen, which, that went out the window. Just high stress and that kind of thing. But I'm still in a lot of stress with school and stuff, but it's a lot more manageable, and I've got the man doing it with me, so we're able to keep each other a little more accountable, and I've lost almost 10 pounds in the last like month and a half, so that's really exciting. But yeah, so it's a beautiful sunny day. I feel good that I got the lawn mowed yesterday, because now I don't have to do that. So that means today I can sit and knit and edit the podcast and do a little bit of schoolwork, but it doesn't have to completely consume my day. So that makes me so, so happy. So with that, I want to thank you for joining me this week, and I hope you guys have a fantastic 2 weeks, and I hope to see you in a couple weeks. Happy knitting. Bye!